Hello and welcome to another episode of Talking Politics on the Hindu's YouTube channel. I'm Nistula Hebbar, political editor of The Hindu and your guide to stories that are hitting the headlines in domestic politics. Now, as I said during last week's episode, this particular episode this week is going to be about the changing dynamics in Maharashtra politics after the mandate that was arrived at the end of the assembly poll campaign and how the new government is going to be dealing with it. Now, the assembly elections in Maharashtra were long being seen as a reckoning for all political leaders and parties in the fray. For the two Shiv Senas and the two NCPs, the battle was for authenticity to determine who is the original, who is the real Shiv Sena or NCP. For the Congress, it was an attempt at political resurgence after over a decade of being down and out. And for the BJP, especially Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis, a reply to the events of 2019 when the then united Shiv Sena broke the Mahayuti and formed the Mahavikas Aghadi government that set off the whole chain of events that led to the mandate of the assembly polls of 2024. Now, the mandate received brought with it its own set of dynamics, and that, in fact, is what will inform the new Fadnavis government at the helm. So let's start with Ajit Pawar and the NCP. When Ajit Pawar broke away from his uncle, the former Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Sharad Pawar, he was considered the weakest link in the Mahayuti. For the BJP and the RSS cadre resented the alliance as they had fought against Ajit Pawar's people in their whole political lives. And this was reflected in the Lok Sabha polls, with vote transfer from the BJP to the Ajit Pawar NCP being negligible and the party winning only one seat out of the 4 seats that it contested. It lost even Baramati, which was the pocket borough of the Pawar family and considered the decider in those elections. Now, this time around, his party won a handsome 41 seats out of the 60 odd seats that it fought. In fact, they even won Baramati. Ajit Pawar himself won Baramati there and defeated his nephew Yugandhar Pawar and completely overpowered the Sharad Pawar faction that won only 10 seats. But more importantly, as soon as the polls were done and the BJP with 132 seats was within striking distance of a simple majority in the 288-member Maharashtra Assembly, he was the first to say that he would be supporting a BJP chief minister, specifically Devendra Fadnavis, for the post. In that sense, in a turnaround of sorts, instead of Eknath Shinde, who is considered ideologically closer to the BJP because of the Hindutva ideological base that they shared, Mr. Pawar is turning out to be a more reliable and amenable ally for the BJP. He seems to have prioritized consolidating his position as the true or as the real NCP via the patronage networks that being in power provides, rather than fight a losing battle of prestige within the alliance. He knows that he has 41 seats and there's only so much he can go further. It suits him to be supportive of the BJP chief minister there and to protect his pocket borough within that alliance through the patronage networks, etc. That was not the case with former Chief Minister and current Deputy Chief Minister Eknath Shinde. Now, Mr. Shinde and his MLAs and MPs made a strong case for him to continue as Chief Minister of Maharashtra. Now, with 57 seats, he has a sizable number, but nowhere close to where the BJP's number is. And in fact, if only the BJP and the NCP stay together, they can still run a government. So he's surplus to requirements in that sense. Now, from withdrawing to his ancestral village to think things over and to say that he was unwell, etc., and to send out signals that he was holding out for a chief ministerial post, he took a better part of 10 days to climb down and be sworn in as Deputy Chief Minister on Thursday at Azad Maidan. Now, BJP leaders fear that Mr. Shinde's intransigence, even in the face of the BJP's numbers, may see a repeat of what happened between 2014 and 19. Now, we keep talking about what happened in 2019, But I think the seeds of that were in 2014 itself. If you recall, the BJP and the then United Shiv Sena broke the alliance. They went their separate ways. In fact, that was an assembly election that saw everybody fight on their own. NCP fought on its own, Congress fought on its own, BJP Shiv Sena, of course, fought on their own. BJP got 122 seats. Even in that election, they fought all 288 seats. They got immediate support from the Sharad Pawar-based NCP. And later, the Shiv Sena reconciled with them and came back to power in the state there. But there was always this resentment that with the death of Balasaheb Thackeray and the advent of Prime Minister Narendra Modi at the helm of affairs, the Shiv Sena, which had been the dominant force in the Mahayuti alliance, had to take a back seat, had to allow a BJP chief minister to hold that position and complete his term. And all of that resentment was carried over to 2019, which led to whatever events had happened there, which led to Uddhav Thackeray breaking away from the Mahayuti again. And during that entire 5-year period of 2014 to 19, BJP leaders have told me that Shiv Sena ministers used to keep roaming around saying that, they are roaming around with resignations in their pockets. They would threaten to quit at any point of time. BJP wanted to keep the alliance together on the basis because of Hindutva and, of course, in terms of vote consolidation at that time, because that was the first time they had gone on their own and the first time that they had grabbed the dominating pole position in the state. Now, why should the BJP then worry about Mr. Shinde walking out if they have the numbers? Like I said, he is surplus to requirements. If the BJP wants, it can actually get independents and others to support it and hit the simple majority figure. It has Mr. Ajit Pawar's 41 MLAs also on its side. So why, if there is such a lot of resentment, why should they wait for Mr. Shinde? Why do they need Mr. Shinde? Well, quite simply, the battle for the Shiv Sena turf has one important tail end left to it. It's a final act, so to speak, that is still to play out in Maharashtra, which is the local body polls to be held across Maharashtra next year, including to the richest local body in Asia, the Brihan Mumbai Municipal Corporation or BMC elections, where the Shiv Sena holds sway for the last 2 decades and which is a rich source of funding for the party. So they feel that if the party funding sources can be shut off by capture by other parties of the BMC, then actually that will be the end of the Uddhav-led Shiv Sena to finally prevail over the Shiv Sena UBT and win the battle for Mumbai city. The Mahayuti, specifically the BJP and the Shiv Sena, Eknath Shinde, they need to pull together. And that was the reason why 10 days of this drama went on and BJP did not say anything or do anything to irritate their ally, except, of course, to insist very firmly that they are going to be holding on to the chief minister's chair. So all of them then had to get together and form the government. It was a message to Mr. Shinde that just as the BJP needed him, he too needs the BJP in order to vanquish Mr. Uddhav Thackeray comprehensively in the local body polls and finish that battle for the turf. Now, already leaders from the Shiv Sena UBT are taunting Mr. Shinde's fall in prestige. And the two parties' politics is a lot about, macho assertion and strongman tactics. So this loss of face may rankle with Mr. Shinde. So for the BJP then, it is important that Mr. Shinde is handled with diplomacy and tact to assert to the other Shiv Sena that he hasn't lost out on much by giving up the chief minister's chair. If you saw the warmth with which Prime Minister Modi greeted Mr. Shinde after he took oath at Azad Maidan as Deputy Chief Minister, you will see that the BJP is already on the program. They are treating Mr. Shinde with kid gloves. The 10-day period that it took for government formation in Maharashtra, despite the mandate that they had, also demonstrated that position. Now, the Maratha agitation in abeyance at the moment is also something that needs to be handled with care, because Mr. Shinde as a Maratha had been able to handle Mr. Jarange Patil, who was the leader of that agitation, with some tact and diplomacy. Mr. Fadnavis, a Brahmin by caste, had been made out into this hate figure, and now as chief minister, again, it's going to be his headache to deal with any kind of iteration of the Maratha reservation agitation. So for that also, Mr. Shinde is required, and therefore this is an alliance that needs to go softly, softly, gently, gently, despite the sheer brute numbers that they have. Now, for the BJP itself, the political battle is ongoing in another bigger respect. Now, Maharashtra is a state where the Congress was born and where the RSS, the ideological mothership of the BJP, has its headquarters. Now, with the assembly mandate, the BJP has demonstrated that it can come to power on its own as well in this state, and something that has been the achievement of the Congress, only the Congress, in the past. Now, this changes the entire shape of politics in Maharashtra. The BJP is the dominating pole around which politics will now revolve in the state as it does in the rest of the country, barring a few southern states. And the party needs to consolidate its gains in this term, perhaps and possibly at the cost of its allies as well. Now, for this, Mr. Fadnavis needs to address the desire for a stable government demonstrated by the people of the state. Such a huge mandate shows that people were tired of the politics of the last 5 years, especially of alliances breaking, parties splitting up, families splitting up, and they have said, whatever it is, these guys look like they have their act together, so let's give it all to them. And therefore, it is the duty of Mr. Fadnavis to provide a very stable government and do whatever it takes to address the aspirations of the people in terms of dealing with agrarian distress, of bringing in big projects and development works, and to restore Maharashtra's space as the economic engine of the country, as well as treat his allies in a manner in which the government can work smoothly for the next 5 years. Having reached the peak, now BJP has the challenge to maintain its position in what is a very changed political landscape in the state. There is one sulking ally and a transactional one as well. I hope this explains some of the changed dynamics of the new government for this week. This is all I have. Thank you so much for watching. I shall see you next week.